What's up, everyone? This is Matthew, modernaesthetic.com, and I'm gonna do I wrote a blog, and this blog actually wrote for a website called Hub Pages, maybe like 4 years ago. But it's about tournament poker and tournament poker strategy. So I'm gonna make a video to go along with this blog before I actually post this up, and this is a video companion to it. So this is a $5 4-table sit and go on Bovada Poker. 10-minute blind levels. Blinds start at 10, 10, 20. Start with 1,500 chips. So that's about standard for sit and go tournaments. They call this a sit and go because as soon as the 36 seats open up, which is 9 times 4 is 9 people to a table. As soon as 36 seats open up, they automatically start the tournament. So part of the tournament strategy that I'm going to go over is how to play your different stack, because in tournament poker it's really all about your stack size that you're playing. So when I first got into playing tournament poker, I used to watch videos from a website called PokerXFactor.com, and they're probably still in business. It's just that I've been out of the poker world for a long time. And part of the way they taught, and the way that some of their trainers taught poker was using Dan Harrington's system. So if you haven't went over the books or read the books Harrington on Holdem, I highly recommend them. There's I believe three books, and 3 books on just tournament strategy. So part of what he says is that there's different zones to the stack size that you have and how you're supposed to play your hand. So your zones that you're in determines how aggressive and how passive you can play. So let's say if the green zone is the zone that you want to be in, that means you have an M of 20 or more. And what he means by an M is your stack size relative to how much money is in the how much money is in the pot pre-flop. So right now blinds are 10, 20. There's no ante, so there's 30 chips in the pot pre-flop. So I have 1,500. So I essentially have an M of 500. Or excuse me, I'm sorry, an M of 50. A little remedial math there that I screwed up on. No biggie, but an M of 50. If you're in the M of 20 or more, that means you're in the green zone, and you have the maximum flexibility to your play. You can raise, re-raise pre-flop. You can raise and re-raise pre-flop and then fold to a strong bet. You can play a lot of flops. You can play not too many flops. It's really your decision. So right now, everyone is pretty much in that zone because this tournament has just started. After the green zone, you have the yellow zone, which is an M of between 10 and 20. So let's say if 30 in their pre-flop, let's say if I had a stack of 500, then I would be inside that yellow zone. And in that situation, he suggests you play a little bit more aggressive. You have to get your money in and try to get back into the green zone. And M between 6 and 10 is the orange zone. And in that situation, you have to be very aggressive, especially in late position. Any hand that you voluntarily, willingly put enter into the pot with, you pretty much have to be committed to go the whole way. And then the red zone of an M of 5 or less. So that would be, let's say if you had 150 chips and you were over here on the button, with like any type of ace high, king high, you're likely just going to shove that all in because you have to make a move. Alright, so enough of the zone talk. I'm going to start just talking about basic strategy and analyzing the play. So raise under the gun, even though it's only 20 extra chips, with king 4 against an under the gun raise. Even in a tournament like this, under the gun raise doesn't mean a whole lot this early in the tournament. But I'm still just gonna fold that. If you've seen any of my cash game videos, I might play tournaments in some situations a lot more passive and fold out of position in certain situations. Especially obviously once you get close to the money bubble and get down to final couple of tables. You're going to make obviously decisions based on what's going on in the tournament, especially if you play the satellite tournaments, which I definitely recommend, because in this situation, this player up here, player number 3, pocket eights, even though that was a great flop, there's just way too much chips being invested by 22 to not put him on something that beats you in that situation. So, truthfully, I thought he played it pretty bad on each streets, not to be really overly critical, but I wouldn't, he raised it 5 times a big line to 100. I think in a tournament that you shouldn't raise more than 3 times the big blind. Even this early in the tournament where the chips don't have as much value for a 3 times raise, but I wouldn't have raised it that big. And then of course when 22 came over and re-raised them, I would have just folded in that situation, because essentially with pocket eights, I'm not going to look forward into the hand and say I'm going to get all my money in if it's a good flop, unless I flop a set, and the odds don't really give you, it doesn't really give you good odds to try to set mine in that situation, so I would just fold it there. Alright, so somewhat playable hand. I got pocket 4s. If it folds to me, I'm going to make a standard raise. So just 3 times a big line, 60 chips. And I just get to win the 30 that was in there pre-flop. So that's fine. So blinds escalated up to 15-30. It's not going to change that much the way anyone should play in this situation, because even though you're getting your M's going down, nobody's really on the brink right now. So ace-9. I'm gonna go ahead and fold this. Basically a min raise, but with 2 people left the act behind me, then of course the blinds. Ace-9, in my opinion, is just not strong enough. So even if I called ace-9 with this board coming out with an ace, I'm still not gonna know where I'm at in the hand. And potentially put myself in a bad position. So I'm just gonna fold it pre. Alright, so pocket 8's definitely playable hand. So I'm gonna go ahead and 3 times a big blind, 90, see what happens here. Everyone behind me folds, so it's just up to the blinds, which is perfect. Alright, no action. Pocket 7's gonna go ahead and do the same thing. Alright, I get a caller, and I hit a set, which is beautiful. So there is a potential flush draw, potential straight draw. Gonna go ahead and bet about half the pot. And so no action, no call, I just take down that. So I'm in pretty decent shape. Looks like I'm 4th at the table, but in tournaments, really the first few blind levels, you're really just essentially trying to tread water, chip up a little bit, and if you can be more aggressive, play a lot of hands, and build a small stack, that's good. I tend to usually play pretty passive in the first couple of blind levels, essentially just getting playing top 10, top 15 type hands, and then from there, once the blinds escalate and people stop playing as loose as they were in the initial levels, especially a lot of amateur players play very loose at the initial levels. Once that once the blinds start to factor into people's pre-flop equation, I kind of like to capitalize that and start to raise a little bit more, especially in position. Even throw in occasional re-raises in position with people who seem to be playing very aggressive. Alright, so in this situation with 6-8, you know I'm out of position. I may just throw in the extra 30 chips, see what happens. This is the second time this guy's done that. Even though he's done it a couple of times, I'm still going to be very cautious out of position. And just try to keep the pot as small as possible, you know, unless I flop something really nice. Alright, so that's not to worry about it anyways because I get a re-raise from the small blind. Alright, so ace-king, somewhat tricky hand to play this early in a tournament, when people are very deep. The deeper somebody's stack is, the stronger the hand you have to essentially get all their chips. So with ace-king, you're usually going to make a one-pair type hand. So I recommend, let's say if I hit this flop, if I hit the ace or the king, I'd probably lead out and bet it, but I would still be very cautious against, especially if he re-raises. I'm immediately going to think, you know, that he has a strong hand. Given the texture of the board, I'd be pretty careful. So in this situation, I raise pre-flop, and board comes out queen 6-2, so it's not a good board at all for ace-king. Made a continuation bet. Now a draw hits, and 3 flushes on a turn, then the fourth, or excuse me, 3 hearts on a turn, and then the 4th heart hits. So if he has any heart, it's going to be a flush. And so I'm going to check to him. Yeah, so essentially any bet that he makes, outside of a real small bet, I would fold. My hand still has, in a weird way, some value, but not enough value in this situation. He could have been peeling with ace-jack, ace-10. I see that a lot in these types of tournaments. But you're still, essentially, if you're chasing a situation like that, you're really putting the odds up against yourself. Alright, so 3-5. Not strong enough on the button, even though there was no raise. So even though I would have flopped, it looks like I would have flopped bottom pair and a gut shot draw. Even if I played this hand pre-flop, I likely would call this one bet for 70, getting like 2 3/4 to 1, but it's just not a good situation to be in. Alright, so 9-10. Same guy limps in again. Same guy I played the ace-king against. In this situation, I would have position. The thoughts crossing my mind to raise him up and see if I can just steal it. He's likely not going to fold pre. And looks like this guy took my idea. But it looks like this guy's limping in with a lot of hands. So in that situation, when you have position, you know, I recommend kind of trying to steal pots now and then from people. So likely my last hand with ace-king against him, he just hit a piece of the flop, either flopped a flush draw or flopped a queen. Maybe he had a queen with a heart, something like king-queen or queen-jack. So yeah, it looks like my idea would have worked if 25 didn't jump on the opportunity. Alright, so pocket sevens. Definitely this guy limps. Okay, so raise. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to call the raise. Usually I don't like to set mine with this type of stack, but playing him in position gives me a little bit more value to just call. Alright, so the small blind, so in this situation, 480 and 90, I'm getting like a little bit better in 5 to 1 to call, but that's just not enough to try to hit a. I'm gonna assume that they have a piece of that, and I would have to hit a set to really feel comfortable, and this is not a good enough situation. Alright, so it looks like 2 likely had a jack, maybe filled up even to a full house. You know, King 6, pretty early position. I'm just going to fold that. You know, you can open up your play the better your position gets. So if I was here or here, it's a chance I may just go ahead and try to raise that, either steal the blinds or play a flopping position. Alright, so 33 players remain. This tournament started with 36, so I may have to do 2 videos for this, because I'm going to keep my video length at about 25 to 30 minutes or so. Alright, so ace jack wins it with top pair. Alright, so blinds went up. So this 25-50 level is I'm gonna go ahead and raise queen jack here, see what happens. But this is the first blind level where you know, I think people gotta be very conscientious about their stack size. Alright, so get called by player number 4 here. I'm just going to go ahead and make a continuation bet. That flop, 6-6-9. Likely there's not much he could have hit. Alright, so turn a pretty good card. It brings me 4 to a straight. So I have an open-ended straight draw now with Queen Jack 9-10. And hit the straight on the river. I decided to check behind just as a way to control the pot. So now he checks to me, so I'm going to bet this, but there is a potential club flush draw. I'm going to go ahead and bet it anyways. I don't think he would check in that situation, so I bet 200. Now, if he raises me all in, it'd be a pretty tough situation. But he pays me off, which is great. So let me go ahead and fold King 8 under gun and see what... well, and for whatever reason it's not... Oh, here we go. Let's see what hand he had here, if this ever wants to load up. So he had pocket 2s. You know, maybe he just thought I was bluffing on the river. But you know, for just a set mining in that situation with pocket 2s, I don't think it's even worth the set mine. I believe it was an extra 100 chips, and he had 1,200 behind. Usually, you have to have. It's like So if you're calling like 10% of your chip stack, usually you'd want to call less than that, like 5% of your chip stack, if you're trying to just straight set mine. Which in that situation against an early position raiser, he really couldn't be playing pocket 2s for value, thinking that he was ahead pre-flop. Because even if he's ahead, he has to worry about 3 more betting streets being out of position, and it's just not. It's not a situation that you want to put yourself in. You're just putting a lot of pressure on yourself. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and check this with King Queen. I have value. I don't want to raise it because, you know, you leave yourself open. Obviously, you're going to make a continuation bet, and in this situation with this stack, it's going to represent a lot of your chips. So I just decided to check it. You know, other players may play that more aggressive. Just kind of went with a gut instinct, and we'll see how this plays out. So you can see just by our reads, player number 4 seems to be pretty passive, limping in a lot of hands. 25 seems to have picked up on his passive play and took advantage of that in some situations. And so queen 4 in the small blind, no raise. I'm just going to go ahead and fold it. I want to put myself in a situation with the type of stack I have to flop top pair and just be in a bad position where I got to make a call, or I may have to potentially call somebody down being out of position. Alright, so there's a lot of hands that could have value in this situation. Player 6, I don't know what he had, just limping in pre-flop. I don't really want to put him on an overpair. He may have stumbled into a jack. You know, definitely a jack. You know, you can make a pop bet on the river like that. There's really not much that's going to beat you in that situation, given that 22 didn't show any type of aggression pre-flop. With a board reading 999 jack, and in that situation, obviously the best hand would be if you had a 9, you'd have quad 9s. If you had a jack, you'd have 9s full of jacks. If you had pocket jacks, and you'd have 3 jacks and 2 9s, so you'd have jacks full of 9s in that situation. But alright, so player 4 busted out of the tournament, and that was likely going to happen. Got it in with a pair of 6s, turn 2 pair, but was going against pocket kings, and just got himself in a really bad situation. I'm not a huge fan of suited connectors in tournaments like this. Obviously, with these blinds, in a situation with suited connectors, I mean, the deeper your stack is, the more value they have. In deep stack, when I play like zone poker, they have pretty decent value when I have a couple of people with really big stacks in the pot with me, because I can make a made hand like a straight and get paid off. But if you have 6-7 and you're just playing your pairs like he did, of course he did. I believe he had a draw, a straight draw to go along with it, but there's just not a lot of value there. All right, so pocket 9s. Now, if 25 raises, I'm going to go ahead and make a small re-raise. And I think the best scenario would be if I can take this down pre-flop. So I'm going to go ahead and raise to 230. And it'd be great to take this down pre-flop. Now, if he comes over the top of me and we're in a really bad situation, I wasn't foreseeing that happening right there. Alright, so I have to worry about, you know, 6 could have just called trying to set mine. 25, I'm going to go ahead and bet, you know, I'll bet 350. A little less than half the pot here. Now, I mean, obviously, it has to look like to these guys that I have a very strong hand in this situation. So, 25, even if he has like pocket 10s, pocket jacks, you know, pocket queens, I'm going to go regardless. But it'd have to be a very tough situation. So, I mean, that's good. I got to take down that most significant pot that I took down so far this tournament. But I believe 6 was likely, he was just probably calling, trying to hit a set. Maybe he had ace, king, ace, queen. And, you know, that situation obviously didn't hit anything. So, got fortunate with a pretty good flop for 9s. You know, it could have really been bad, to be quite honest. You know, if somebody was trying to trap with pocket aces. After making that bet, I would have been in a very tough situation. Well, actually, you know, I think I probably would have folded. If somebody would have came over the top of that, of my bet after me showing as much power as I had, even with the amount I invested, I can't think that I'm ahead there. I would have likely just folded that situation. But it would have been an interesting spot to be in. Sixes very well could have just tried to smooth call my re-raise with pocket aces. And in that situation, if he came over the top, I'm definitely going to fold. But it is difficult playing in these tournaments. I'm not going to, can't kid about it. It's only a $5 tournament, so there's going to be a lot of amateur players playing. And there's going to be some strong players mixed into, you know, guys that are probably multi-tabling and playing a lot of tournaments at once, have this mixed in. So, you know, you got to start your bankroll somewhere. I usually wouldn't play this. I stick to the zone poker and mostly no limit cash games with multi-table tournaments mixed in. So I will play $5 multi-table tournaments. And usually you can get a pretty decent prize pool when you have 1,000, 1,500 people. But for the most part, I stick to zone poker, and then I play tournaments between multi-tables between $10 and $30. And it's been pretty comfortable for me. Haven't had any bankroll issues in the past 7 or 8 months. Keep about $2,000 on, and been able to play pretty comfortably. Alright, so this situation, now again, I talked about investing, how much you want to invest to try to hit a set, and it's never more than, you know, if you have 10% of your chips. So this is a little less than 10% of my chips. However, it's, you got to play the effective stack, and what I mean is, player 6, the one that's making a raise, he only has 1,386 behind after his 191 bet. So for me to call an extra 170, roughly, that's not even 10% of his stack. So if, you know, the odds you want to set mine with, you know, calling less than 10% of your stack, you have to factor in the other person's stack as well. All right, so now we're blinds are up to 50 and 100. So your stack size is going to factor in every single decision, even more so now. Last betting round, or excuse me, blind level, you definitely would have factored in your stack size, but it's even more so now. So with 50 and 100 is 150 pre-flop, so the average stack of this is probably only like 1,700. Let me take a look. So 1,800 is the average stack. So even the average stack is going to be in blind trouble. The average stack would have an M of 12, so they would still be in the yellow zone. So in these tournaments, sit and go tournaments, very rarely are people in the green zone, even if you're the chip leader of the whole tournament. It's a very rare situation where you're in the green zone, meaning your M is 20 or better. Right now with 150, I got 2,000 chips. My M is roughly about 13 or 14. So let me take a look here. So looking at the tournament lobby, the chip leader is 4,200. So with 150, he's got an M of about 30. So he's pretty flexible, but the problem is, even though he can play flexible, he's playing against other stacks that can't play flexible. All right, so not paying attention, but I'm not sure how that guy got invested that deep with King Queen. Yeah, he hit his queen on the turn, or queen or king, and got his money invested. It was really not too smart. Tournament's consolidating now, down to 27 players remaining. So this is a good time right here. I'm going to go ahead and stop this video. It's at exactly 30 minutes, well 29:38 right now. So this is a perfect place to stop, and I'm going to fire up a new video.